Picture this. You're walking through an old neighborhood, and you see a building. It's mostly fine, but there's one little thing that's off. A single broken window that nobody's bothered to fix. It seems so small, right? Trivial even. But that one tiny crack, well, that's where our story begins. A story about how systems, whether they're buildings or software, begin to fall apart. And this isn't just a metaphor. It comes from a real experiment. Researchers took a car and just left it abandoned in a neighborhood. For a whole week, nothing happened. It just sat there, completely untouched. Then they made one tiny change. They smashed a single window. And you won't believe what happened next. Within hours, the car was completely stripped, flipped over, and utterly destroyed. So this experiment is a perfect illustration of what criminologists call the broken windows theory. The idea is really simple, that one unrepaired broken window sends a signal. It's a message that says, hey, no one cares around here. It suggests the rules don't apply, and that invites even more disorder and eventually total decay. The real trigger, it turns out, is that feeling of abandonment.
Okay, that's all interesting, but how does this apply to us? I mean, what could a vandalized car possibly have to do with the code you're pushing to production every day? Well, as it turns out, everything. This powerful idea was brought into our world, the world of software development, by Andy Hunt and Dave Thomas. They wrote about it in their legendary book, The Pragmatic Programmer. And they saw the exact same pattern of decay happening, not in buildings, but right there in our codebases. They gave it a name that I think just perfectly captures this slide into chaos: software entropy. Or, as we all know it, software rot. You might remember the term entropy from physics class. It's the natural tendency for any system to drift towards a state of disorder. And guess what? Software is no different. A project will naturally decay. It will get more complex and messy over time. Unless, and this is the key part, unless you are putting in constant, deliberate effort to fight against it. So yeah, while physical entropy is all about molecules and heat, software entropy is about the buildup of bad design choices, inconsistent code patterns, and just general messiness. And believe me, this isn't just a cute analogy. It is a fundamental force that we have to deal with on every single project we touch. But here's the thing. The technical mess, the bad code itself, that's not even the worst part. Nope. The most dangerous thing about a broken window in your code is what it does to the people, to the developers who have to live with it every day. And this right here is the absolute crucial point. The real damage isn't that one piece of shoddy code. It's the psychological message it sends to the whole team. It whispers, hey, our standards have slipped, or quality isn't a priority here. And maybe, worst of all, nobody actually cares. And that feeling, that sense of hopelessness, man, it is contagious. It spreads through a team like a virus, and it creates this vicious cycle where apathy just destroys morale, projects slow to a crawl, and the bug count just keeps climbing. And that leads to this exact mindset. A developer comes into the codebase, sees the mess, and thinks, well, if this is the standard we're working with, I'll just follow suit. They stop fighting the decay, and they actually start contributing to it. They become part of the problem. So, if that's the downward spiral, how in the world do we stop it? Well, the pragmatic programmers give us a really clear, actionable solution, and it all starts with a simple idea. First, do no harm. Their core advice is super direct and it's powerful. It's just this: don't live with broken windows, period. Don't let bad designs, wrong decisions, or poorly written code just linger. You have to address them the moment you find them. And this philosophy gets broken down into a really practical 4-step response. Okay, so first, you find the problem, the broken window. Second, you fix it right away. But what if you can't? What if it's a huge fix? That's step 3. You board it up. And finally, step 4 is all about communicating that you're on top of it so everyone knows the situation is being handled. So what does boarding it up actually mean when you're writing code? It's not about ignoring the problem. It's about containing it. It could be as simple as commenting out the bad code for now. Or maybe you display a not implemented message. Or you could even just leave a really clear, obvious comment warning other developers about it. The goal is to take immediate, visible action to show that you're aware and you're in control, even if the permanent fix has to wait. And you know, this approach goes way beyond just fixing individual bugs. It's really about changing the entire team's culture. It's about building a culture of quality, of responsibility, and of professional craftsmanship. Let's go back to that key insight from the original theory. Neglect is what accelerates the rot. It's not usually a lack of experience or tight deadlines that do the most damage in the long run. It's the simple act of seeing a problem and choosing to walk away. Actively caring is the most powerful weapon you have against this stuff.
And this is not a job for one single hero developer to clean up the mess. No way. Keeping a codebase clean and orderly has to be a collective responsibility. When the entire team agrees, we don't do broken windows here, that becomes a sign of a truly high-functioning, professional group of people.
At the end of the day, why does this matter so much? Because your codebase is so much more than just lines of code. It's a living document. It's a reflection of your team's values. It tells a story about your discipline, your standards, and the pride you take in your work.
So I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Take a really honest look at the project you're working on right now. What are your broken windows? And maybe more importantly, what story are they telling about the culture and the standards of your team?